Hey guys, Allie here today. Hope you're having a good Sunday or Monday, wherever you're at. Today I was thinking about thoughts and how they really don't mean anything unless we give them meaning, unless we grasp onto them and decide to run with it. So, like we all know, thoughts are going through our head all the time, unless we're in like a space where we're in nature or doing something that we're completely absorbed. That's why it's so good to get into spaces like that, because then we have our mind can quiet down, and it's a really wonderful place of peace and presence in that exact moment. So thoughts are just going to come by. They don't necessarily mean anything, but so many of us, me in particular, will grab onto a thought and think, oh, and just run with it. And it's not a thought that I want. It's a worrisome thought. It's a anxious thought or something like that. And I will just run with it and go with that story. But it's not even, there are a million thoughts going through, maybe not a million, but a lot of thoughts going through all the time through the day. And where our power comes in is, what thoughts do we decide to grab onto and tell a story about if we decide to grab onto them. If we're in a place of complete peace and our mind is still, well, that's the best way to be. But if we have thoughts going through our head and we decide, and it's, let's say, okay, something going on right now for me is my dog has a torn cruciate, and they're telling me that there's a possibility that his other one could go out as well at some point. There's like a 50% chance. So I'm driving home and I'm thinking, oh my God. And so that thought pops into my mind. What am I going to do if that happens? That's not the reality I want to take in. I do not want to give more energy and focus to that reality. I do trust that everything is working out perfectly and that it's going to work out, whatever's best for me and my dog. But I'm not going to, waste my time and energy going down a path of, well, what if it happens to the other one? That's just a what if. There's no, it hasn't happened. It's not my reality at this point. So I'm not going to choose to engage in that any longer. But I noticed that I started to go down that rabbit hole and try to prepare for, well, if that happens, then I'll do this or do this. All I'm doing in that moment is just creating a scenario and making it more possible for that reality to come into my life. What do I want instead? No, I want my dog to still be able to live a quality of life. I don't want the other leg to go out. And I want him to have a good life despite the fact that he's getting older. And I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make that happen. And so that's what I want to envision. I want to envision him having a good quality of life. He's loved. He's well cared for. He's getting older. He might have some things going on. I'm just doing the best I can with those. Of course, that's a story too. So ideally, I would like to see him perfectly healthy. But if he's, he's older, and so that's okay too. If he's gonna need, I've got him on supplements, and that's fine. So I'm happy to run with that storyline. But the main thing for me is I want to see him having a good quality of life as he gets older, and to still really, enjoy himself and be loved and have a full life. Whatever that looks like. And if it's not him running, around like he used to when he was just a pup, that's okay. I'm okay with that. I just want it to be full, and I'll take him out and he has his sniffs and everything, and he might not run like he used to, but he still is a happy dog and he's having a good life. That's the reality that I'm going with, that feels really good to me. I mean, like some people, I guess, could say, well, why don't you envision him just running like he was with a pup? That doesn't call to me for some reason. I don't know. That doesn't feel aligned. What feels aligned is as he gets older, he still has a good quality of life. He might not be as fast and running, but he still is doing his thing. That feels good to me. So that's the thought, and that's the story that I'm going to go with. You really want to go with what feels good to you when you have thoughts. Just because a thought pops into your head doesn't mean it's the truth or doesn't mean it's going to happen. But a lot of times we take that and it's something worrisome, and we will start to go into that story and then start to plan, oh, I'll do this. If that happens, I'll do this. And all we're doing is creating a possible reality for that to come in for us. So why not choose something that actually feels good and resonates and gives you peace? That's what, I'm doing with my dog. So I'm going to choose a scenario that gives me peace and that feels good. And that's where we have our power, guys. So we can just choose out of all the things that come in what we want to engage more with. We have an intention. We know what we want our life to look like. So why don't we just, when thoughts pop in, if we want to engage in it, it feels good, go for it. If it doesn't, just let it go by, and that's fine too. But just because thoughts come in doesn't mean that there's any truth or any reality to them. But when you start to give your energy and focus to a line of thought, you make that reality more possible to come in and to be experienced in your 3D. So, as I always say, be really conscious. That's what happens when we go unconscious and we just start letting our mind kind of take over. We just start going down a bunch of rabbit holes, and a lot of times it's worrisome thoughts and we don't feel good, but we just keep going down and down, and then it's like we just spiral, and that's really tough sometimes to get out of. So catch yourself as thoughts come in and just realize, well, does that feel good? Does that not feel good? If it feels good, yeah, take it on and, go more into it, but if it doesn't, that's fine too. You can just let it pass by. It doesn't mean anything. It only means something if you start to give a meaning and an energy and a focus to it. So just be really, really conscious about when thoughts go through your head, which ones that you give energy to and which ones that you engage with and start to tell a story about. Just as I will always say, make sure whatever you're giving your energy and focus to is something that you want more of in your life. If it's not and it doesn't feel good, please just let it go. Choose another thought, choose a better feeling thought, do something that feels good, whatever, but just you don't have to engage in that. That's where your power is. You can choose to engage in whatever you want. So give your power and your energy and your focus to things that you want in your life and things that feel good. Okay, that's it. You guys have a good Sunday or Monday, like I said, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.